television, we are going through some ugly numbers from this morning. 4.3% unemployment. Market obviously doesn't like that. Let's get some more details on the status of the labor market with Evan Sohn, chairman at recruiter.com. Evan, great to have you here today.
Thanks so much for having me.
So how does this fit with what you guys are seeing in your data? Because obviously this is a bad number.
Yeah, we knew going in that it was tight. We were hopeful that it would meet expectations, but we were not surprised given the overall cooling of the labor market. Let's just run through some of the numbers. So the first off is the recruiter sentiment. So we asked recruiters, we've been serving them since June of 2020, so a long time, how they're feeling about the overall state of the market. And this past month, it was a 2.9 out of 5. So slightly up from 2.8, but it's really been 3 and low this whole year. So really not feeling great about the overall market itself. And what's really interesting is that the number of jobs that required to be in office, either full-time or hybrid, actually rose to like 76%. So that's hard to actually fill those overall jobs themselves.
Okay, so that's seemingly kind of a back to normal figure there for in-office, 3/4.
That really is a back to normal. So even a hybrid requires you, a hybrid's really that good work-life balance. You know, be in the office 3 days a week, home 2 days a week, but you still need to be able to go into the office.
Yeah.
You might be able to expand that horizon. You might make a bad commute, an hour-and-a-half commute, both ways, something like that, twice a week, but you're not going to do that 5 days a week.
We're looking at your sentiment index here. It had kind of tried to tick up the last few readings. Is there, where does the recruiter sit kind of relative to the employer? Did they see any kind of like edge, or do they see a certain type of employee more? What's kind of the main difference between what we might see from employers?
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, you think about when you need a recruiter, right? You need a recruiter either when it's a hard to find position, right? That esoteric, you know, someone, a highly specialized role.
Sure. TV anchor.
A TV
Not
anchor.
a ton of them.
A TV anchor, not a ton of them. So some very high role. B, there's enough money in there to make sense for a recruiter, so that $80,000 to $150,000 and up. Or when you need a lot of volume and you just have so much churn that, oh my God, there's so much attrition going on, I need recruiters. So during the Great Resignation, recruiters were just on this major hiring spree because every company was churning so many people, they needed recruiters just to fill up the water of the water that was leaking. So that was really the great days for the recruiters themselves. So it really is a challenge when you're looking at that actual marketplace itself.
Okay, so it seems like there's this kind of post-COVID normalization as one force, and then the question is, do we have another force of like serious economic deterioration? What would you expect to see if that's happening? Like, where would it show up in your data?
Right, so the hiring, the actual hiring themselves, the workloads the recruiters have, that's actually also going to point to how many people, how many open jobs there actually are. So there really is this good correlation. The other thing we started to do is to look at what actually happened, right? We saw in the Jolt report, the numbers for this past month were just really absurd, right? The hiring and quitting rates were just a whopping difference from where you were a year ago. You know, you could see, I don't know if you had the graph there, but it was really like this incredibly low number, 15% less hiring that took place from pre-pandemic. So both hiring and quit rates are below pre-pandemic levels.
We've got your chart up right here. Blue is hires, red is quits.
That's right. So just incredibly low hiring from pre-pandemic and low quitting from pre-pandemic. Also, in the recruiter survey, we saw that 95% of the candidates they were talking to already had a job. So the job market is really tight. The other problem that we started to see, and we partnered up with Aura Intelligence, it's a partner of ours, and Aura Intelligence did a whole study on entry-level jobs. And we keep hearing about these kids coming out of college, difficult time getting a job, getting ghosted, there's no jobs for them. The actual entry-level roles in 2023 went down by 38%.
Wow.
38%.
Wow.
So let's not be surprised that there are no entry-level jobs.
Boy.
So if there are no entry-level jobs and it's a tight market economy and you have people exiting the workforce, so now you have an unemployment number of 4.3%, and yet there's this underemployment. The underemployment number of people that want to work, this whole graduating class, they want to work, but there's no entry-level jobs. you'd see these memes, entry level, 3 years experience required.
Right. Yeah.
And that just doesn't happen. So you've really, now, fortunately, we saw a little bit of an uptick in Q1 in entry-level jobs, but we really have to make up for this 38% reduction from 23.
It's a good insight because it kind of gives you some idea who might be most in pain at kind of these early stages if we are going to have a shift lower in the economy. It seems like already there are specific pockets that are susceptible and kind of younger people starting in the workforce. It's an unfortunate time to do that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely unfortunate time. And keep in mind, we're coming off of, we've had these incredible swings. So we're coming off 2 years ago where wages were just pushed so high because people just need to hire and overhire, and these tech companies really overhired in 22.
Yeah, yes.
And so entry-level jobs, these graduates were gaining really very, very, very high salaries, and now they're waking up to not even having any job, but they still want that feeling because the person that graduated from them 2 years ago has this very high salary job.
Yes, it's a high standard.
And yet the entry-level jobs are really far and few between.
To the point about tech, yesterday we saw Intel's making a major layoff. Maybe that's a specific issue with the company that's gotten beat out of its market, very possibly, but still a big enough business. And also now that the earnings are leading to sell-offs and some of the winners of that sector, it kind of makes you wonder if there's going to be kind of further breakup of some of the tech hiring spree that these companies went on.
Yeah, first off, I'm going to second your remark about Intel. Watching
Right.
watching Intel, that's like watching your old school baseball player just strike out.
Yeah,
Right? This was the grandfather. This is just an incredible, sad thing to watch.
It is.
Their earnings, the no dividend, laying off 20,000 people. I think they were laying off
15%.
Just a really crazy number. Look, the one thing that we learned last year is Wall Street rewards you for laying people off. So laying people off used to be a bad thing. Oh, a company's laying people off. That can't be good. Now you're righting the ship. We overhired. We're course correcting. We're adjusting accordingly. We're taking advantage of some economy of scale to actually make a reduction. So we're seeing that actually happen.
Catches in the stock market, the stuff that had done the best over the last year, all these AI trades, are they leading to a big hiring spree? I imagine to some extent there is, but also the idea is supposed to be productivity enhancing, and many still argue that large language models are going to displace some jobs, and it does kind of look like that too, the way some of these cloud companies have been really getting hit. It's like their business models are going to be able to get programmed away by an AI. So how does that fit into the jobs discussion?
Yeah, so we track through Aura. The Aura jobs, Aura has an AI jobs report, comes out once a month.
Okay.
We're tracking AI job growth across many sectors: education, healthcare, finance. So we're seeing the AI job requirements going up, so that's actually very good. Remember, they're probably not looking for anyone entry level unless they're a data scientist coming out of college or grad school, right? So those are very, very, very niche roles, but you're seeing lots of different industries hiring these AI jobs. I think what you're seeing at a macro level, I think this is the year that we're building. Companies are building their AI programs, and next year will be reaping.
Okay.
So if this is building the AI, trying different things, next year, 25, will be reaping the benefits of the productivity from AI.
Love the details of the analysis from Aura and from Recruiter Data. Appreciate it, Evan. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good conversation. Some nice insights there into the state of the economy. Evan Sohn, chairman of Recruiter.com. One big takeaway, not a great time to be looking for a job for the first time.